Hey everyone, and welcome back to AI Podcast. Today we're diving into something that's both fascinating and a little freaky: deepfakes.
Deepfakes, yeah. We're talking about those AI-generated videos or audio clips that can make anyone appear to, well, say or do just about anything, and they're getting so convincing.
Scary convincing. It's becoming harder and harder to tell what's real and what's not.
Definitely.
So in this deep dive, we're going to equip you with the top 5 ways to spot a deepfake.
Think of it as your deepfake detection toolkit.
Exactly. Let's start with the first clue: visual glitches.
Even the most sophisticated deepfakes, they can still have these subtle flaws.
It's those little things, the tiny details that seem just a little bit off.
Right. Like you might notice something strange with the eyes, like blinking that's too fast, too slow, or just doesn't look natural.
Or maybe even just the way their face moves, like when they smile, it doesn't quite reach their eyes.
Exactly. It's like that feeling you get when something's just not quite human, right?
Like a weird uncanny valley vibe.
Exactly. And another thing to keep an eye out for is inconsistent lighting. You know how light works in real life? Deepfakes sometimes, they don't get it quite right.
Yeah, so like if you're watching a video and the person's face is super bright, but the background's like weirdly dim.
Right. The lighting, it should match up naturally between the person and the background.
Okay, here's a cool detail that can really trip up deepfakes' eye reflections.
Oh, yeah. Our eyes, they act like little mirrors, and they reflect the world around us in a very particular way.
And it's hard to fake.
Yeah. Deepfakes often have a tough time replicating this accurately.
So you might see like a mismatch in the shape or the brightness of the reflection in the eyes
Right.
compared to what's, actually around them.
Exactly. Good catch.
Okay, what about inconsistent head movements?
Yeah. You know how when we talk, our heads kind of move naturally in sync with our bodies?
Yeah, we do without even thinking about it.
Exactly. But deepfakes, sometimes their head movements are jerky or unnatural. They just don't look quite right.
Like their head is just bobbing there on top of their body
Mm.
in this weird detached way.
Yeah. And finally, there's the classic lip syncing, or rather bad lip syncing.
Oh yeah, think about those old kung fu movies
Yeah.
with that hilariously bad dubbing.
Yes. The lips are saying one thing, but the audio is totally different.
And deepfakes can have a similar issue.
Exactly. The lip movements don't quite match up with the words, so those are 5 visual clues for spotting a deepfake. But visual inspection is just one part of the puzzle, right?
Right. We need more tools in our arsenal.
We do. We've got some powerful tools that can help us in our deepfake detection,
And the best part is, a lot of them are open source.
meaning they're free to use.
Free is always good.
It is. So let's dive into 3 specific open source tools that you can start using right away. First up, Deepface Lab.
This one's interesting because it can actually be used to create deepfakes, but it also has features for analyzing and detecting them.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword, but it's really important to understand how this technology works from both angles.
For sure. What about FaceForensics plus C? That one sounds kind of intense.
It is. It's a data set and a tool specifically designed to detect facial manipulations in videos. It actually uses machine learning, which is basically training computers to become deepfake detectives.
So we're using AI to fight AI. That's pretty wild.
Exactly. It's like having an AI sidekick helping you spot those fake videos.
Love it.
And lastly, we have Deepware Scanner. This one is a great option if you're looking for a quick and easy way to check a video, especially if you're on your phone.
Perfect for those times when you see something online, you're like, wait a minute, is this real?
Right. You can just run it through Deepware Scanner and get a quick assessment.
Amazing. So these are just a few examples, of course.
Right. No tool is perfect.
But these open source options can give you that extra layer of protection in the fight against deepfakes.
Exactly. It's like having your own team of digital detectives,
I like it.
And as we've seen today, I mean, there are so many ways to spot these sneaky deepfakes.
Absolutely. From visual glitches to audio inconsistencies to biological signs.
Right.
I mean, deepfakes might be getting more sophisticated, but they're not invincible.
Not yet.
Yeah.
And don't forget the power of, open source tools, metadata analysis.
Right.
Those can be real game changers in the fight against, deepfakes.
Totally. We've given our listeners a lot to think about today. But before we go, I want to leave you with one last thought.
Okay, go for it.
As deepfakes become easier to create, even more convincing, what do you think the long-term implications will be for society as a whole? I mean, it's a bit unsettling to think about.
It is. It's a question we all need to be thinking about. I mean, deepfakes have the potential to be used for good in areas like, entertainment or education, but we can't ignore the potential for harm, especially when it comes to spreading misinformation, manipulating people.
Yeah. It's a real double-edged sword. We're going to need to be vigilant, informed
Yeah.
to navigate this, landscape responsibly.
Absolutely. It's going to take all of us, tech companies, policymakers, and just, individuals like you and me,
Yeah.
to find the right balance.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today in this deep dive into deepfakes.
We have.
I hope you feel empowered to be more, I don't know, discerning when you're, consuming information online.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. The more you know about this tech, the better prepared you'll be to spot those fakes and protect yourself.
Exactly. And on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of AI Podcast. Don't forget our next episode drops on Monday evening. We'll be exploring another fascinating topic in the world of AI. Have a great weekend, everyone.